a quarter drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets.
Good Saturday morning, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? This is the TFG Sports Show, the best 30-minute sports talk show on social media. I am your host, Kendrick. I hope everybody is having a good start to their weekend. It is the start of a new month. It is April the 1st, and what that means is April Fools. So you guys be careful out there in these social media streets, because don't fall for none of the tricks and the shenanigans. Make sure you vetting stories or whatever, because I know somebody is probably going to be posting some ridiculous stuff today or any other thing that's going on in the world today. So be careful out in these April Fool's streets. So I hope everybody, again, is having a good start to their weekend. Make sure you come in and say hello to me. Make sure you drop a hello in the comment section. Make sure you like and share the show as well. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to TFG Sports Media on YouTube, and make sure you like and follow TFG Sports Media on Facebook. And if you could do me a solid, make sure you subscribe, like, and follow Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's Kendrick SportZhustle on YouTube, and same on Facebook. So again, great Saturday morning to you. And then we got some good sun, and got some sun here in Texas. I know we had some storms yesterday, some tornadoes hit in Little Rock, Arkansas. So we're praying for those that were affected by that as well. I see I got my man Charles Morton jumped into the mix. What's going on, my brother? Good Saturday morning to you. How you doing? That's what's up. South Carolina is going to repeat April Fools. Yada yada yada. You already to start. We're gonna talk. We ain't gonna talk a whole lot about that, but man, we're gonna talk about that was a really great game last night. If you missed it, South Carolina and Iowa. The first game was LSU and Virginia Tech, but we're gonna go over those real quick, but not much, just a tad bit. But we're gonna jump into our quick hits right now. We're gonna talk about our first quick hit. We're talking about the UT Austin Longhorns. Yeah, they made a nice run in the college NCAA tournament, and they actually made official the interim head coach, Rodney Terry. He is now the main guy. That's right. Texas hired Rodney Terry as the permanent coach of the Longhorns to a 5-year contract. Again, Terry guided the Longhorns to the Big 12 Conference Tournament Championship. They were the number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, and they made a run to the Elite 8. Texas went 22-8 overall, 12-6 in conference under Terry, and Terry had stops as a head coach at Fresno State and UTEP. So again, the Longhorns has made Rodney Terry their head guy. Now, our second quick hit. Finalists for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame 2023. That list is going to be announced tonight during the Final Four in Houston. We're going to talk more about that in a little bit, but they already released some of the names a couple of days ago. We already know the finalists. These finalists are Dwayne Wade, Miami Heat, the Mavericks, Dirk Nowitzki, the Lakers, Paul Gasol, the San Antonio Spurs, Tony Parker, the Becky Hammond, who's the head coach of the Las Vegas Aces, who won the WNBA championship this past season, and she's a former WNBA star and assistant coach under Greg Popovich, who is also a finalist for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Again, that full list will be revealed tonight during the NCAA Final Four. Now, our last quick hit before we get into our meat and potatoes, we're talking about Palestine, Texas' own Adrian Peterson. That's right. Palestine, Texas native running back Adrian Peterson will be inducted into the Texas Sports Hall of Fame this month in Waco. Peterson was the 7th pick in the first round of the 2007 NFL Draft by the Vikings. Adrian, who's nicknamed AD stands for all day because they said he could run all day. He has 14,918 yards career rushing, 120 touchdowns, and holds the NFL record for most rushing yards in a NFL game at 296 in his 14-year NFL career. Again, that induction banquet is scheduled for April the 15th in Waco. Again, congratulations to Adrian Peterson. He will be going into the Texas Sports Hall of Fame in Waco. Well, check out, we got a comment here. Let me move over here. Computer is tripping. Charles says, let me see. Is something wrong with my TV, or did Texas hire a black head coach? Well, no, they you remember they had Shaka Smart. This is the first one. Matter of fact, Shaka Smart I know he probably don't look it, but Shaka Smart was African American. They hired him out of Virginia Commonwealth. So yeah, this is the second one in basketball. So hopefully they give Rodney Terry the same. Hopefully they don't treat them like they treated Charlie Strong. You know, that's just my opinion. So we'll see how that happens. But no, Texas, they hired Shaka Smart, who actually I don't think he was fired. I think he decided to leave and he went to Marquette. So anyway, so we wish Rodney Terry all the best down there in Austin. We'll see how that works out for him. So let's get into our meat and potatoes. We're talking about the NCAA men's Final Four set tonight. But before we talk about them, we got to talk about the women's NCAA Final Four and what happened last night, as Charles reiterated, talked about at the top, the April Fools, man, that South Carolina Iowa game. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about Double C. I'm talking about Caitlin Clark for the Iowa Hawkeyes. She put 41 on South Carolina. She was 15 for 31 from the field. And, man, she was balling. She's a baller. I'll be honest with you. This was my first time. I hadn't watched her play all year, her whole career. But let me just say this. She can ball. If you missed watching Caitlin Clark last night versus South Carolina, you missed the treat. She was putting it in from all over the court. She just had ice in her veins. And even though it was nip and tuck, South Carolina just couldn't make any outside shots. Iowa pretty much packed down on the South Carolina big girls, their main ones, Aaliyah Boston. They just packed it in, and they dared South Carolina to shoot from outside, and they made a few buckets. Zia Cook, pretty much, she was the offensive threat for South Carolina. She had 24 points, but Aaliyah Boston was in foul trouble in the first half, so she really didn't even play a lot. I think she finished with 8 points and 10 rebounds. So South Carolina was trying to repeat as national champs. They end their season at 36-1. Iowa again gets the win. The number 2 seed, 77-73. Again, Caitlin Clark went for 41. And it was the second game. The game prior to this, she went for 40 as well. So it looks like we got no repeat national champion on the women's side. That sets up Iowa versus LSU, the number 3 seed who beat the number 1 seed Virginia Tech, 79-72. This is LSU first national championship game in school history. And Kim Mulkey, yes, that Kim Mulkey that was at Baylor, in her second season at home state at LSU, she has taken LSU women to the Final Four. LSU Angel Reese, she finished with 24 points and 12 rebounds, and Alexis Morris had 27 points. And Mulkey, who's the head coach of LSU, she won 3 titles and 4 Final Four appearances at Baylor. So again, the women's Final Four is set. We got LSU and Iowa. That's going down on ABC tomorrow, Sunday, 2:30 p.m. on ABC. Now let's talk about what we got going on tonight. We got the men's Final Four happening tonight, and I think none of us picked none of these 4 teams to be there. And if you did, said you had them in your bracket, I know you lying. No, you didn't. Every number 1 seed was gone by the end of the Sweet 16. The average seed of Final Four was 5.75, and that's the second highest ever as far as the highest seeded teams left. The lowest seed team left is the number 9 seed FAU. Florida Atlantic University. Now, Miami, San Diego State, FAU are in their first Final Four. It's the first Final Four with 3 newcomers since 1970. FAU is the number 9 seed in the East region. They beat number 8 Memphis to get where they are. Then they beat number 16 Farley Dickerson. Then they beat number 4 Tennessee. Then they beat number 3 Kansas. I'm sorry. No, they beat number 1 seeded, number 3 Kansas State. I'm sorry. 79-76 to make it to the Final Four. FAU, they shoot 36.5% from the 3-point line. And they average nearly 10.3 threes made per game. So they are excellent shooting three-point team, and they're an excellent rebounding team as well, in spite of their lack of size. Now let's talk about UConn. They're the number one. They were the number 4 seed in the West region. They beat number 13 seed Iona, number 5 seed St. Mary's, number 8 seed Arkansas, and the number 3 seed Gonzaga, 82-54 to make it to the Final Four. UConn is number 2 in the nation in rebound margin and offensive rebounding percentage. The Huskies have won each game in the tournament by at least 15 points. Now let's talk about the Miami Hurricanes. They were the number 5 seed in the Midwest region. They beat number 12 seeded Drake, number 4 seeded Indiana, number 1 seeded Houston, 89-75, and number 2 seed Texas, 88-81. The Hurricanes averaged nearly 80 points per game. They in the top 10 nationally in point percentage and in 2-point percentage as well, and free throw percentage. So the Miami gets it done. Now, they dropped 35 points in the final 11 minutes versus Texas to pull out that win, because we thought Texas had that game wrapped up. Texas was ahead, I want to say, by like 11 at half, and then Miami just made that comeback again in the last 11 minutes, and that was a wrap. So again, Miami, they scored 89 points versus Houston. One of the keys for the Hurricanes, they are 15-1 when their star big man, Norchad Omiar, records a double-double. So look out for that, their big man. If he gets off to a good start, Miami normally gets the W. Now let's talk about San Diego State University. They're the number 5 seed coming out of the South region. To get to the Final Four, they defeated number 12 Charleston, number 13 Furman, number 1 seeded Alabama, 71-64, and number 6 seeded Creighton, 57-56. They're number 2 in the nation in 3-point defense. They allow only 63 points per game. Listen to these percentages by their opponents that they held to a low 3-point percentage. Charleston was only 5 for 24 from 3-pointers. Furman was 6 for 26. Bama was only 3 for 27. And Creighton was only 2 for 17. Again, they're allowing 57.3 points per game in the tournament. So San Diego State is one of those teams that is really defensive minded. So Miami's going to have to, FAU is really going to have to come to play. Now, Connecticut is the only team in the field to have won a national championship back in 2014. They were a number 7 seed then, and they beat number 8 seeded Kentucky. Some most valuable player candidates of this tournament, look at FSU's Jonell Davis. You got San Diego, you got Darren Trammell out of San Diego State. You got Miami's Nigel Pack. So those are some names that you can look for that maybe get the most outstanding player award of the Final Four tournament. Now, again, tonight is the Final Four matchup. Again, we got number 5 seeded San Diego State versus number 9 seeded Florida Atlantic. That is 6:09 Eastern, 5:09 Central on CBS. And then the second game, number 4 UConn versus number 5 Miami. And this tip-off is approximately 7:49 Central, 8:49 Eastern. Again, they all on CBS. My prediction, I'm going with San Diego State over FAU. And then I'm going with UConn over Miami. And I'm picking UConn to win it all, and that's just a prediction. I don't know if it's going to be close. I mean, I think at this point, I think it's all up in the air. I think whoever plays the best defense is going to win at the end of the day. I think that's what's going to happen. So there we have NCAA Men's Final Four set for tonight. Now let's move on to NFL. We're talking Lamar Jackson. Yep, he announced on Twitter that he wants to be traded out of Baltimore. Now, this thing has turned into a soap opera. Now, Jackson announced his request on Twitter, saying he made the request on March the 2nd. So he had already told the Ravens organization he wanted to be traded, and he kept mum about it. And then they slapped that non-exclusive franchise tag on him on the deadline, and then he decided to come out with his talk. He also says that The team has not been interested in meeting his value in contract talks. That is a quote from Jackson. Again, the Ravens placed that non-exclusive franchise tag on Jackson, where he will make $32.416 million this year. That's the average of the highest paid quarterbacks at his position. So he's not happy. The Ravens are, in a way, when they slapped that non-exclusive tag on him, they basically were saying, you know what, see if you can go out there and get what we've offered. Now, there's been conflicting reports of what originally the Ravens have offered him. You know, some saying they offered him $133 million guaranteed. Some said that it was less than that. So we really don't know. No one's talking. Now, one thing about it, if you don't know, Lamar Jackson is he's his agent. He doesn't have an agent, so he has to negotiate for himself, him and his mother, from what I've read. So has that hurt him? It depends on how you look at it. I think when you're negotiating, it is kind of hard. I think from the owner standpoint, from the team standpoint, to negotiate with the player face to face, because there's probably some things that they really don't want to say how they want to move, and they can kind of say it to the agent, and the agent can kind of twist it for their clients, so to speak. So I mean, I see there's pros and cons to being your own agent. I think at this point, I would have rather see Jackson at least had some advisor, but to actually negotiate the contract, the agent has to be certified with the NFLPA. Now, again, last week the NFL warned teams in a memo that they could only negotiate with Jackson, again, because he does not have an agent. So this is a very sticky situation. Again, now last September, according to a report, Jackson turned down 133 guaranteed at signing, 175 million guaranteed for injury, and 200 million in total guarantees from the Ravens. Now, no one's confirmed that, but that was just what has been reported. Now, if he would have signed that deal, that would have ranked second among all the quarterbacks, obviously behind Deshaun Watson's 5 years, 230 million guaranteed, and it would have surpassed Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson deals. Murray deal is 103.3 million guaranteed, and Wilson deal is 124 million guaranteed. But Jackson wants a fully guaranteed deal, similar to Watson's. And I think right now owners are really, really trying to tread lightly, because this could come across as being a little bit of collusion if the Ravens aren't really wanting to deal in good faith. And then there's been reports where other general managers or owners that kind of come out and said they're not interested in Jackson. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It's a bunch of teams that need quarterbacks that should be interested in Jackson, in my opinion. But some are saying they're not, and I think they're just playing coy. So I don't know how this situation is going to end. Baltimore is in a pickle. Will Jackson sit out a whole year? I mean, that's possible. I mean, he doesn't have to sign that non-franchise exclusive deal. If he doesn't, he can sit out and kind of pull a Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell did this same thing, but unfortunately it didn't work out in his favor. Now, the thing is, another thing has been a stickler point is Jackson has been somewhat injury prone. He's missed the 11 games over the past 2 seasons, but he's also former NFL MVP 2019. His record as a starter is 45-16. That's 738 winning percentage. That's the 4th best of any quarterback in the Super Bowl era. So he's got the credentials. His resume speaks for itself. I think eventually these teams somebody's gonna pull the plug, and somebody's gonna either the Ravens are gonna give him what he wants, because now again, Deshaun Watson's that guarantee deal has set the precedent for all these other quarterbacks coming behind him. And I don't blame Lamar Jackson say, I want to get paid, because guess what? We got Joe Burrow coming up after this. And I'm sure he's going to set the market at a different level too. So the quarterback market, those salaries just keep inching higher and higher. So in my opinion, I don't see this ending no time soon. I think the only way this is going to be rectified is going to be some sort of trade. And we'll see if that happens. So good luck, Lamar. I hope you get your money, player. Baltimore Ravens, you got a big decision to make. We'll see what you're going to do. Let's move on to our next topic. We're talking ESPN, Stephen A. Smith, him and Dan Le Batard. Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Stephen A. Smith appeared on the Dan Le Batard show, the South Beach Sessions podcast, and they were talking about numerous things. Actually, Stephen A. has written a book called Straight Shooter. He's been on his book tour talking about that. That dropped in January. Well, he and Dan Le Batard, who's a former ESPN analyst as well, they got to talking about the state of sports television and journalism, and basically, Le Batard put him on the spot. I got some sound to that, about 1:53. I want you guys to take a listen, and we're gonna talk about it after we come out. Let me load that real quick.
You were part of it too. You ain't innocent.
I'm talking about
up so you can hear the beginning.
All of the imitators, they're all over the place, thinking journalism. I hate what you two have done to sports television.
I'm back in.
Say that you want to. I would say, who the hell are you to sit up there and say me and him? What about you? What the hell were you living under a rock? Teaching at Miami U? You were part of it too. You ain't innocent.
I'm talking about all the imitators that you have birthed. All of the imitators that are all over the place, thinking without the journalism credentials that the point of all this is to turn it into an argument on television.
Well, I would take umbrage at what you're saying in this regard, Dan. Those people who don't have a journalism background, who don't exercise journalistic ethics and beyond, how are we responsible for that when our background is based on that? Skip Bayless was a journalist for decades. I was a journalist for decades.
In the form of entertainment, we have to, it's not that it's ignored, it's that the journalism becomes less important. It's the argument, it's the sparks, it's debate that needs to be carried.
Yeah, but where you're missing the boat, and I'm actually surprised that you're missing it, Dan, is that it's not about us. It's about the money. The fact of the matter is that somewhere along the line, social media came into play. And even with YouTube, have the ability to monetize your product. People look at what it takes to monetize their product, and they prioritize that, and that dictates what they do. What, you don't have to go to college, and you don't have to take 18 credit semester hours like I did each semester. And you don't have to get a bachelor's degree.
Yeah, that was Stephen A. Smith. If you didn't get to hear the beginning of that, it kind of clipped. Basically, Dan Le Batard said he hate what he and Skip Bayless has done for sports television. He felt like they ruined it. And that didn't sit well with Stephen A. Smith. And then he went on and was throwing shots and shade at YouTube content creators, basically saying, basically saying they don't have the credentials. We don't have the credentials to talk about sports. Or I would say this to Stephen A. Smith. First of all, I have over 25 plus years of experience in television news and sports. No, I did not go to college to be a journalist. I didn't get a degree in sports journalism or journalism at all. But I think just because you don't have a degree, don't mean that you cannot study a particular, especially sports. Because sports, let's be honest with you, this ain't heart surgery, this ain't brain surgery, this ain't trying to build a rocket. It's just talking about sports, giving your opinion and reading up and watching and knowing the game and knowing what you're talking, and doing your homework. So you ain't got to be a degree. Of course, I respect your grind. I respect Stephen A.'s grind. Yeah, okay, you went to college, you did this, you worked your way up through the system. But you got to respect the grind of YouTube content creators as well, who started from scratch, nothing, doing it for free. Because you don't see guys on YouTube. When they first started, they weren't making any money. Yes, now some of the big channels are making any money. I'm not. I'm building just like everybody else. So for him to try to throw shade at YouTube content creators, and specifically, he has a YouTube channel with 69,000 subscribers. I think he's being a hypocrite, in my opinion. So I would clap back at Stephen. They said, yeah, sports television has changed. I think the debate shows has made it more of an entertainment value, more so than you stick in the sports. It's more about yelling and screaming and debating and having these weird topics and going over and beating the same topic over and over again. So again, I respect his grind, but I totally disagree with him trying to throw shade at YouTube content creators that's putting out some great work. It's a couple of guys, a lot of guys I follow their YouTube channels. Dreamers Pro, Charles does a great job. Around the association, they do a great job. Hoopers Pro, it's a lot of guys. Ticket TV, it's a lot of guys on YouTube that are doing a great job. And it's not and they talking sports. My man Too Raw for Sports, who is really raw. That ain't my style, but everybody has their own style. He does a good job too. So I think these national guys need to quit trying to throw shade at the content creators on YouTube and maybe take some and look at what they're doing and quit being the same old running the same old topics and the stupid debates they have and the angles that they take and do something different. Try to do something fresh. And that's just my opinion. All right, we're gonna get out of here in a few. With my last sports wrap, we're talking about the Magic Man, Magic Johnson. He is part of a group that has already, according to Adam Schefter, along with 76ers owner Josh Harris and billionaire Mitchell Rales, officially submitted a $6 billion bid to buy the Washington Commanders. Now, it's been reported that Daniel Snyder is seeking $6 billion for his club. And the Johnson, Harris, Rales group has looked like they are interested, and they've already submitted a bid. Now, another person who's, according to reports, interested in the Commanders and has submitted a bill, Canadian billionaire Steve Apostopoulos and Houston Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta. They both, according to reports, have submitted their interest in buying the Commanders. Now, if Washington sells, it will break the previous record for NFL franchise of how much it sold by, and that was just last summer. The Denver Broncos sold for $4.65 billion to billionaire Rob Walton and his group. Now, Magic already has ownership stakes in the Dodgers, the WNBA LA Sparks, and the Los Angeles Football Club. And there's also a report that former Washington Commanders quarterback RG3 is part of the Harris Johnson Rales group to buy the Commanders. If you remember, RG3 was the number 2 pick in the 2020 NFL draft by Washington. So according to reports, he could be part of that group. So it looks like that Magic Man and his group that he's part of, again, 76ers owner Josh Harris and billionaire Mitchell Rales, they've already submitted their bid. They want the Commanders. We won't know if that'll happen. It'll probably be this summer before a decision is made on that. So we'll see what happens. So again, that is our sports wrap for today. And I want to thank my man Charles Moore for jumping in here for a minute. If you watch this later, guys, make sure you comment on all the topics that I ran through. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That's TFG Sports Media here on YouTube. And make sure you like and follow TFG Sports Media on Facebook. And also do me a solid. Make sure you go over to Kendrick Sports Hustle on YouTube. That's SportzHustle. Make sure you subscribe to my sports channel there and like and follow Kendrick Sports Hustle on Facebook. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get a second. I just got an alert. Some breaking news. Oh, whoa. Oh, you remember I was talking about RG3? Well, according to some breaking news, that the Ravens and the Packers are in talks of trading. The Packers are in talks of trading for RG3 and sending Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love to the Ravens. No, this can't be. I'm playing. April Fools. Nope. April Fools. I had to end the show with April Fools joke. So if you watch this later, know that did not happen. That was an April Fool's joke. I had to stick that in just to mess with you guys. Again, thanks for watching. Hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend. Oh, make sure you check out my man, Lee Black, Real Talk for Real Men. His show on TFG Uncut, TFG Ratchet tonight, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you go check that out. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. We're going to cue up this outro. And again, I'm your sports guy, Kendrick. We're going to see you here, same place, same back channel, same time. Again, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm Kendrick. We'll talk to you on the other side. I'm out. Peace.
That money clip us now, the new now looks like, whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, 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 whoa. I hit record a drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing